Welcome back, everyone. So for today's retro video, doing something a little different. I'm going over a character I like in theory, but hate in practice. And this is actually a character that's been requested, and that is Heidi from Red Horizon Blood Omen. Again, like this character in theory, absolutely hate her in practice. She's a 7 hand size, 21 health character. She's got air, fire, and life as her symbols, and she's got a couple of interesting effects. The first is a static that says character cards with Krieger in the name can be attached to Heidi as though they share the same name as this character. So what that means is in retro we have something called character stacking, where if you have multiple characters with the same name, the same identity, like Heidi, Heidi 2, Heidi 3, or even multiple copies of Heidi, you could build them into your stage after you play them, and if they're the same character but different versions of the same character, so how we have like several different Izuku Midoriyas, or several different Bakugos, or several different Eren Yeager, well, not Eren Yeagers because they don't have control and difficulty anymore, but you get the idea. If you have multiple different character copies, or multiple copies of the same character, but they have different identities, different names, different versions, you gain all of the additional abilities of those other characters. So for example, if I have Midoriya 1 and I build in Midoriya 2, my Midoriya 1 gains all of the symbols and abilities printed on Midoriya 2 that Midoriya 1 did not already have access to. So Heidi, if she builds these Krieger characters, gets access to all of those Krieger's abilities. She has another static that says after you take damage, you have to discard one card with Krieger in its name that is attached to this character. So if you take a hit, you got to get rid of one of your Kriegers, and that's going to be important. And then as a first form, so the first ability, the first thing that you do after you draw up to your printed hand size before you play any cards, first form, add one card with Krieger in its name from your hand to your stage. You just automatically build one Krieger character in. So what is Heidi's gimmick? Heidi wants to play the 5 Kriegers, starting with Krieger der Bergen. Now the thing about these things is they are all 6 difficulty character cards with 6 control. They have 1 health and 1 hand size, but you're never using them as your starting character. As a static, if this character is discarded due to your character's effect, add it to the top of your deck. So if we take a hit and Heidi has to get rid of a Krieger, we get to put this Krieger on top of our deck. And then E, so enhance, make a check of 5, and if we pass that check, our rival's block modifier to block this attack gets +1 for each card with Krieger in its name attached to our character. So that's pretty good. There are 5 different Kriegers, so you can give up to +4 to the block modifier. Well, no, because it doesn't say with each different name. So if we have 8 Kriegers and not one of each of all 5, we can give +8 to our rival's block modifier. Pretty strong. We're going to skip the second one, Krieger der See. As a static, if this card is discarded due to your character's effect, we get to clear all cards from our card pool. Great thing to do on defense, just clear our card pool defensively. And then we have response once per turn, discard 1 card. Before you would take damage from an unblocked attack, if you would take 3 or less damage, reduce its damage to 0. So if we can do some damage reduction, reduce an attack's damage to 3 or less, we can just once per turn discard a card and reduce its damage to 0. We have Krieger der Sonne. As a static, it says if this card is discarded due to our character's ability, we get to remove 1 card from our rival's discard pile. Just target remove. And then as a form, once per turn, our tech attacks get -1 difficulty for the rest of this combat phase. So making our tech attacks easier to play, which is really good because she does run a lot of tech attacks. Ish. We have Krieger des Walds. As a static, if this card is discarded due to our character's effect, we get to gain 2 health. So a little bit of health gain after we've obviously had to take some damage. And the response after our tech or weapon attack deals damage, our rival loses 1 health and we gain 1 health. So that's pretty cool. Constantly burning and gaining health as our attacks are doing damage. But the main reason you play Heidi is for Krieger der Nacht. And as a static, Krieger der Nacht says if Heidi has 5 different characters with Krieger in their name attached to her, you form Der Krieger der Toast and you win the game. So for my Yu-Gi-Oh players, Heidi is Exodia. If you build one of each of the 5 Kriegers, you automatically win the game. And then as an enhanced, this attack is +1 or -1 damage. Who cares? You win the game with Krieger der Nacht by forming Der Krieger des Todes. So she's very interesting. You obviously want to try to play to this end game of winning the game with Krieger der Nacht. So why do I hate this character? I hate this character because most of the times when you see her in a retro tournament, she is fundamentally playing the game wrong. And she kind of defeats the spirit of the game. So I've got 2 deck lists for you here. The first is the bad Heidi, and the second is the good Heidi. So we have the bad Heidi, the Heidi I hate, who does not play the game as intended, who plays the game in a very wrong way. And then we have the good Heidi, who plays the game as intended. So we're starting with bad Heidi. So bad Heidi runs 4 copies of all 5 of the Kriegers. Obviously, you want to see them as quickly as possible. And then she runs an action card called Call of the Dreamlands. This is from 7th Cross. It's a 1 difficulty, 5 control, no block action. As a response, remove after our rival makes a check. That check is -X. X equals the number of characters in our stage. If our rival fails that check, they draw 1 card. Failing the check does not end the combat phase. We don't care about that. We care about this form. Our next 4 non-attack cards ignore progressive difficulty. So Heidi is a 7 hand size character. And as a first form, we get to automatically build one of our Kriegers. So we want to see a card called Blueprints very early on. Starting hand if we can help it. It's a 3/5, no block, unique, you can only have 1 of it. But as a form, we can flip it and search our deck for any character card, reveal it, and add it to our hand. Then we play Call to Dreamlands. Our next 4 non-attack cards ignore progressive difficulty. So as a first form, we build our first Krieger. We blueprints to search our deck for a Krieger. And then hopefully, we have 4 different Kriegers in our hand with a different name than the one we built, and we build all 4 Kriegers on a 6. Because they all ignore progressive difficulty, so it's on a 6, on a 6, on a 6, on a 6. We run 24 6 checks here. Actually, let's just look at the stats. The graph stats. Our check, we run 28 6 checks. And Heidi can commit herself if we're going second. And if we're going second with the ability to review 1 and then draw an additional card, we're an 8-hander, potentially drawing 9 cards. And as long as we check a 5 and commit Heidi, and then we check just running 6s, you instantly win the game if you've built all 5 Kriegers in your first turn going second. This happened to me at a retro event, I want to say at Nationals 2 years ago. My rival went first. They built blueprints. They built, I think they built Iron Grit. Yeah, after you check a 6, add the checked card to your hand, playable while committed, and that's a remove cost. So you can commit it to pass a check and then remove it when you check a Krieger that you don't have. So he built blueprints, I think 2 Iron Grit, and like another foundation. So no, I think he only built the 2. He built blueprints and 2 Iron Grit. And then he flipped blueprints to search for a Krieger after building a Krieger. He called the Dreamlands, And then he checked on his third Krieger, the last Krieger he needed, removed mechanical Iron Grit, picked it up, played it, committed the face down blueprints to pass it. He won on his second turn, going first. Without doing a single point of damage, without playing a single attack. He just built 5 and won. That's what this deck does. But obviously you can't just run 8 foundations and 20 characters and 4 actions. So you do have some defense with Swordfish too. It's a Cowboy Bebop asset, 3/4, 3 mid block. Enhance, add this card to your momentum, add this attack to its owner's momentum. So it basically aborts your rival's attack, automatically putting it to momentum. Because if Heidi takes damage, you do have to discard a Krieger. So you're trying to take as little damage as possible. We have cards like to avenge a loved one. So if this attack speed or damage is of your rival's attack is above 6, reduces damage to 0. We've got Bakery Poster Girl, which can reduce speed to 0, only playable if your rival has played at least 3 enhances this combat phase. And then we play cards like Wall Cling, which says if this attack is blocked, it deals no damage. All of our Kriegers are 0 mid blocks. We're going to pass the check to block. We have German Temper. If we have extra Kriegers in our hand, we remove this and discard a character card. After our rival plays a card as a form, we get to clear it from their card pool. So they play an attack, we delete it. Mechanical Genius is just here to say your next non-attack gets -3 difficulty. And that's the thing. A lot of her abilities are form abilities, which means they can be played anytime during your turn at which you could play an attack from your hand. So anytime you would play a card during your turn into your card pool to make your check to play it, that is called playing a form. So a form ability is activated anytime you could play a card from your hand during your turn. So there is very little interaction that you have with a lot of these abilities to try to counter them, because they can just use all these form abilities, and unless you have something that cancels form abilities, you're just sitting there watching your rival solitaire into, I play 5 robots and win. Like I said, Iron Grit, as a committed, tenacious response, you can, after you check a 6, add the checked card to your hand. Herald of Germania says, response, your turn, flip after you play a character card that you could normally attach to your character, build it. So I play a Krieger, and if I don't have Call to Dreamlands to make my next one ignore progressive, I just flip Herald of Germania, build it down. If you build multiple Herald of Germanias, you can constantly do that to just keep clearing your card pool of progressive difficulty, so you're always playing things on a 6. Faith Shield, after you block with it, as a response, you can remove Faith Shield to flip the rival's blocked attack, and it deals no damage. Keiko's Aid is good for defense, making it harder for your rival to play more attacks by giving him +2 difficulty. And then you got cards like Syndicate Target and Number 10 Pro Hero, which are just 6-check foundations, which are, well, good for when you want to play a bunch of 6 difficulty characters. Yeah, this deck is incredibly boring. I hate it. You just try to sculpt, and on your second or even sometimes your first turn, like if you go second and you just get a lucky draw with a Call to Dreamlands and all 5 Kriegers, which you could in theory do if you review a card and draw 2 for going second, then you've got 8 cards in your hand, so 5 Kriegers, Call to Dreamlands, and you've got 2 spare cards. So it could happen. It's not likely, but it could happen. But you could just check, you build 1 and then just check running 6s. I hate it. I don't think this deck is good. I mean, obviously it's good. It wins. It's a hard deck to play against. But I think fundamentally it goes against the spirit of the game, because there's no back and forth. There's no, this was meant to be like a fighting game card game. This deck doesn't fight, it just builds. So let's go into the good Heidi, the Heidi that plays the game more as intended. Instead of playing 4 of each Krieger, you're playing 3, so you still have all your 6s, but you are going to be playing more attacks. So you do want to build to this, instant win with Krieger to Nacht, but you're still doing the back and forth. You're still playing cards as you should. So our attacks for this are Iron Knuckle, which is a 4 high 4, 4 difficulty, 3 control, 1 high block, punch tech weapon. As a static, if our rival blocks this attack, we get to seal their block, which means we don't get breakered. Anything that says, after you block with this card doesn't work. And as an enhance, this attack gets +1 speed and +1 damage for each character in our stage. So that includes Heidi and any Krieger that she's built. So this can be a very big swing of an attack. We have Cannonade, a 5/2, 5 high for 5. It doesn't have a block. Range tech weapon. Enhance, this attack is +2 damage for each character in your stage. So it can become very powerful. Really good for using the Krieger de Bergen. Make a check of 5. Your rival's block modifier to block this attack, it's +1 for each Krieger attached to your character. And this is not a once per turn ability either, so you can make all of your attacks incredibly difficult to block if, say, you're only missing like Krieger der Nacht or Krieger der See. You still have 4 other Kriegers attached and maybe 5 because you have a second Krieger der Bergen or something. So you can just give +5, +6 to each block modifier that your rival tries to block with. Very strong. And then enhance, if Cannonade deals damage, you get to add any character or any copy of Cannonade from your discard pile to your hand. So you could pick up the Kriegers you're missing, or you could pick up another Cannonade, play another Cannonade, throw a bunch more damage at your rival. We also have Panzerbrecher, a 5/3, 3 low for 4, 3 high block, powerful 3, punch slam tech. Powerful 3 is an enhance that says spend any number of momentum, and for each momentum you spend for this ability, you get +3 damage. And as an enhance, after this attack resolves, clear it from your card pool. Your next tech attack gets +1 speed for each character in your stage. So we can throw this as our opening. It's a 3 low 4, and then after it resolves, we clear it, and we can play a Cannonade, getting a whole bunch of speed and a whole bunch of damage for each character that we have in our card in our stage. We've got Dagger Strike, a 3/3, 2 low for 4, 1 low block, stun 1 and weapon. Stun 1 is an enhance that says our rival must commit 1 foundation. As an enhance, our next tech attack gets -2 difficulty. So Iron Knuckle, Cannonade, Panzerbrecher, basically any attack in our deck that is not Dagger Strike is going to get -2 difficulty thanks to this card. We have Urban Shower, a 4/3, 4 low for 4, 2 high block, reversal and tech. Reversal is a response keyword ability that activates in your hand after you not completely block, but after you block an attack, you may reveal your reversal in hand to activate its effect and attempt to play that card from your hand as an attack during your rival's turn. So kind of like Aerial Kokosho or Rising Uppercut, except the attack does not need to be completely blocked. And then you pass the check to play the card, you get your own enhance step and block step and everything else. And as an enhance, if this attack is not blocked, your rival loses 2 health and you gain 2 health. So that adds up with Krieger de Walls, burning your rival for your tech dealing damage and you gain health. On top of, you get damage, you get a boost to your rival's block modifier with Krieger de Bergen, you get a little bit of damage with Krieger de Nacht. And with Krieger der Sonne, all of your tech attacks are getting -1 difficulty for the rest of the turn. So that plus the Dagger Strike means you can string out really, really wide with all of your techs. And our last attack is Sturmwaffe, a 3/3, 3 high for 3, 0 low block, ranged tech and weapon. As a fire enhance, which means we can only use this enhance ability if our character has the fire symbol, which we do. This attack gains stun 1, bit more stun, and then this enhance gets +1 speed for each weapon attack and +1 damage for each tech attack in your card pool. So all of our attacks have tech and most of them have weapon. In fact, only one does not have weapon and only one does not have tech. So you throw Sturmwaffe at the end of a string, and with Krieger der Sonne, this is a 2 difficulty attack. With stun 1, it's a 3 high 3, and it can get as a tech and weapon itself, because it doesn't say each other tech or weapon card. So this is a 2 difficulty, 4 high 4 with stun 1. That's already pretty good rate. But if it's at the end of a string, when you've thrown 3, 4, maybe even 5 other moves, you know, stringing some cannonades, and then you throw a Stromwaffe at the end, it's going to come in for a lot of damage. Also, the bad Heidi list was on life. Good Heidi list is on air. And that's mainly so we could play Cape of No Return, a 3/4, 3 high block, enhance remove this attack from the game. We just remove Cape of No Return, instant delete one of our rival's attacks. Swordfish 2, similar thing. We get to put our rival's attack into their momentum, so we don't have to deal with it, and we get some momentum ourselves. We also have Genkai's Guidance, a 1/5, 3 low block. First form remove, we're not going to worry about that because our first form for Heidi is much better. And we don't need to worry about our rival discarding cards. But we do want the response of sacrifice 3 foundations. After our rival plays an attack, remove it from the game. So we have 4 assets and 2 actions that are instant delete buttons for our rival's attacks. Very, very powerful. We've got Moment of Normalcy for our starting off our foundations at 2/5, 3 high block with unique. Enhanced Commit, return this attack to its printed speed or damage. So we can return it to printed speed so we can block it easier. Or if their printed damage is 3 or less, we can use Krieger der See to once per turn discard a card. If we would take 3 or less damage from an unblocked attack, that damage becomes 0. We have Rifle Arm, a 2/5, 3 low block weapon. Enhanced Commit, this attack gets +2 or -2 speed. If it is the only attack in its owner's card pool, it gets +3 or -3 speed instead. We've got Wall Cling, which says Enhanced Flip, if this attack is blocked, it deals no damage. This is great for when we reduce speed and block with our 0 mid blocks. We just guarantee take no damage. We got Made for Speed. This is a fun one. It's a 0/5, 3 low block. As a form, we just get to put this card on top of our deck. So if we're wanting to check 5s for our Kriegers, so we only have to maybe commit 1 card, we can just put this on top of our deck, check a 5 on a 6. There we go. We've got Hell's Reach, a 0/5, 3 mid block. Enhanced Flip, ready this card, playable while committed. So Tenacious ability, we just flip this committed card to ready it. We have Evil Eye, a 2/5, 2 high block. All of this card's abilities are Tenacious, which means we can play them while this card is committed. As an enhance, we can flip this card to return this attack to its printed speed, or we can enhance remove 1 character card from our hand or card pool to draw 1 card. So we can remove, say, an extra Krieger that we have in our hand to draw a card, digging for those Kriegers, or maybe some more attacks, or we can remove a Krieger we've blocked with to try to draw another card to block with. We have Wandering Pirate, a 2/4, no block, unique. After your rival's combat phase begins, we get to ready Wandering Pirate. And as a response twice per turn, Tenacious. After this foundation is either readied or committed, we get to ready 1 other foundation that has not been readied this combat phase. So if it commits during our turn to pass a check, we get to ready a card that is not Wandering Pirate, that has not been readied. And when it readies during our rival's turn, we get to ready another foundation in our stage. So pretty good for extending our strings or giving us a little bit more defense when our rival's turn comes around. We have Ophidiophobia. This is basically Wall Cling, but with a 5 check and a low block. If Enhanced Flip, if this attack is blocked, it deals no damage. So on air, we have access to more, if this attack is blocked, deal no damage cards. As opposed to just the Wall Cling on life, we have Wall Cling and Ophidiophobia, which not only gives us a different block zone, but just more copies of the same ability. That's really good when we're running 15-0 mid blocks. We have To Avenge a Loved One, 3/4, no block, unique, enhance remove. If the speed or damage of your rival's attack is above 6, reduce its damage to 0. We don't want to take damage because we don't want to discard our Kriegers from our character. Blueprints is a 3/5, no block, unique, enhance commit. add one character card from your discard pile to the top of your deck. Good for checking 6s. Or form flip, search your deck for one character card, reveal it, and add it to your hand. So the last 4 cards are Heidi's foundations that are basically just speeding up our build of our 5 Kriegers for the Das Krieger der Todes. But as an enhance, we can commit Iron Grit. Our tech attack cannot be blocked by action cards. In Retro, there are some very powerful defensive actions that have very strong block effects, like Stop or... not Battle Preparation. Prepared to Fight. Which can be really, really dangerous for us to be blocked by. So making sure that our tech attacks cannot be blocked by action cards are very strong. Herald of Germania can remove itself as a form to remove one rival asset from the game. And Mechanical Genius, as a form, our next non-attack card gets -3 difficulty by sacrificing Mechanical Genius. Or if our rival goes into deadlock, which means they have at least 11 foundations, as an enhance we can commit Mechanical Genius. Our tech attack gets +3 damage and throw, which means even if it's completely blocked, it will still deal half damage rounded up. So that is the good Heidi. Is it as good, strong as the bad Heidi? No. The bad Heidi is way more consistent and will win you more games, guaranteed. But the good Heidi is more fun. It's more how she was meant to be played. It's more what the designers had in mind when they designed this character. Otherwise, these cards would not have her face or her mechs on them. So, this also just has more of the spirit of the game in it, the back and forth, the combat. You know, maybe it's just me and I'm grumpy because I don't like watching my rival play solitaire for 10 minutes. If I wanted to do that, I'd go back to playing Master Duel, which I do play, but I just hate these solitaire decks. I don't like... If you want to play solitaire, go play solitaire. That's just how I think of it. Bad Heidi is just... It is good, it is strong, but... Why? At that point, you're not even playing the game. You're just building your 5-card mech, and at that point, just go solitaire and Exodia deck and let the rest of us have some fun, alright? But that's all I really got to say about everyone's favorite angry German lady. Yeah, so I hope the viewer of mine who requested Heidi gets some good information out of this. I really hope you decide to play the good Heidi deck and have some fun, as opposed to the bad Heidi deck and making everyone hate you. No guarantee that they'll hate you. Maybe they'll think it's cool. I don't know. I'm just jaded. But, yeah. So if you guys have some ideas for some retro characters you want me to dive into, I do have more retro content coming. Because it's just something I enjoy. I love the extended card pool and trying to play with some older cards. I just made a Rochester purchase for more retro cards that I don't have in my collection yet, that I'm planning on tinkering with. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see from me in terms of like maybe some deck profiles. I don't get a lot of requests, so yeah, I tend to take those kind of seriously. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.